2, 1.
Thank you for joining us for the Welcome to the Hall podcast, courtesy of the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame and the El Paso Sports Commission. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best of the best from past inductees into your El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Welcome to the Hall, ladies and gentlemen. And again, what a great introduction. Did you see that? Oh, my gosh. Thanks again to Mr. Ace Acosta, Mondo Monster Medina, Tony Grijalva. Ladies and gentlemen, the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame, 70 years we've been celebrating this particular day. And I can't thank all the people enough, Vice President Ray Adalto, Secretary Donna Carter, and all of you out there as well. This is our Welcome to the Hall podcast, the class of 2025. Now, tomorrow, the next day, you're going to wake up, you're going to walk up to the mirror, you're going to look in that mirror, and you know you're going to see yourself, right? But also, today, what you're going to see? Hall of Famers. None better. But more importantly, the leader of all this, the man that made it happen, is the man to my right. And you know there's many things in life that you can do. But one of the best things you can do is you see him around the city, is just say hello. I'm saying say hello to this man right here, a photographer to the stars, Mr. Ruben R. Ramirez.
Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that introduction. Speaking of introductions, man, did you see that thing right now?
Awesome,
I'm telling you,
these so cool.
These guys just didn't pull out any stops today. They're really making us look good. Ace, Mondo, Coach, thank you. We really appreciate you all being here and, being our 70th anniversary. What do you have to say to Wayne now?
Persevere.
There you go. Amen.
That's the major words. You have to persevere through it. I mean, we both were trying out at the same time. Both of us didn't make it. And so the next year I went like to Burgess. I was determined to make it. And I did make it and so forth. So it was really something to see. But we played a lot in the summer leagues. We've traveled around around El Paso. Each side would meet on each side of town to battle, and we would play outside. We didn't play inside. We would play outside and go to war all day and all night. So it was really something. So it was really, when I look at those things, you learn from the failures. You learn how to rise from them, how to get up, and don't let the last failure define your tomorrow.
There you go. Well said. Well said. Mm-hmm. Next, also in the athlete category is Kendra Chambers Coleman. So you have a state title in track at Hanks, an 8-time collegiate All-American at UTEP, as well as the University of Texas, Hookham, and qualified for the Olympic trials. Did you ever think you would get this far as a young girl in El Paso?
Absolutely not. I grew up playing soccer with my cousins at the YMCA on the east side, and I just love to run. So my mom would put me in every sport that had running in it, and we finally found track and field. But no, I think I never expected to keep going this long. And honestly, it's not about me. It's about the people who were able to help me get there, because it's so much sacrifice. And on my end, there's a lot. But for the people to say, go achieve your dreams, go live out your dream of becoming Olympian, and they let me do that, that's really the special part of my story.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we have Natalia Hinojo, also in the athlete category. High school All-American, collegiate All-American, a national champion in wrestling. And what of all of these honors stands out the most to you?
I think it's super cool that Wayne had mentioned earlier too, and that Coach Carter actually pointed out, is that I was not only the first wrestler, but also the only female in the wrestling category. Wrestling is such a male-dominated sport, and I'm really big on growing women's wrestling. It's the biggest growing sport in high school athletics right now in the entire country, and it's just super cool to see how much it's grown. And so to be able to kind of be that first person and, like the pioneer to set it off and hopefully inspire other people to want, other young girls to want to continue to, make this a goal, that's the coolest part about it.
That's way cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Iceman, Corey Herman, who's being inducted in the coach administrator category. So you look around, hockey, big time in El Paso, right? I mean, everybody expects hockey to be here in El Paso. You're the first hockey player ever inducted with the El Paso Buzzards and now the Rhinos. You're a great part of both teams. What out of both of those teams stands out to you the most, Corey?
Well,
you know, growing up, like I wasn't always the best hockey player. You know, like even when I came to the Buzzards, like even I was fortunate enough to play college hockey, and then coming to the Buzzards, I was never ever the best hockey player. But you know, like I always wanted to be one of the hardest working guys. And I guess like when I got hurt and I couldn't play hockey anymore, and I started coaching, that's what I always wanted to kind of coach. Is always, you know, we always want a hard-working blue-collar team. And like what really stands out, like I guess what stands out to me the most is just watching kind of all the ice sports in El Paso grow, like the hockey, obviously the Rhinos and the youth sports, and just all the different programs, just seeing it grow in kind of a non-traditional market. So that's what stands out the most.
Awesome. You know, I remember when I was at the Herald Post, I got a chance to cover the Buzzards when they first got here. The one thing that I'll never forget is seeing that first squid going on the ice, and I went, what is going on? You know, but that was amazing. But congratulations, and thank you for doing that.
No, thank you.
Great. Next, we have Yesenia Alarcon Ortega in the coaching category. A high school player of the year at El Paso High School in basketball. You also played at UTEP in basketball, and now you're going into the Hall of Fame as a volleyball coach. We're turning it around for you in that sport, Coach.
So after I had finished playing basketball, I started playing volleyball with my brother, who was playing indoor, outdoor at the time. And I didn't play volleyball in high school. However, I did attempt to play it at one point. I walked up to the gym. I saw those little bloomers they were wearing. I said, no, that's not for me. So I went back to the sport that I was very comfortable with, and that was basketball. And then from then on, I went back to playing volleyball with my brother outdoors, and I picked it up. I mean, I loved it. I learned it from, the very basics. I had to learn it from the bottom up. And it's just something that intrigued me, and I had a quick passion for.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But you were okay to get over the shorts and stuff.
Well, as a coach, I didn't have to wear those shorts, right?
That's true.
But now they're spandex, so they're not bloomers anymore. So I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Next in the trainer category, we have Scott Smelzer, a trainer, now a coach. Before all his coming back from Houston to El Paso. El Paso's his home now. You're in the hall now. Boy, you're just all over the place, aren't you, Scott? I got to ask you, what's going through your mind right now as you know you're getting ready to be inducted tomorrow night?
It's surreal. It's something I never thought would really happen. I know I joked about it sometimes walking around the Haskins Center, seeing those pictures. I should be up there somewhere. But never thought I would reach that caliber to get up there along with Ross Moore, Dave Binder, Manny Pasillas, Don Hearn. So
that's awesome. Well, congratulations once again, not only to you, Scott, but to everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our 2025 class for the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Now, I'm going to turn it over to my man, Wayne Thornton.
Okay, brother. You never leave, okay? Now we have a question for all the inductees, the same question, so you just go down the line answering it. Scott, we'll start with you since you were last. Is that cool?
that's fine.
All right, bro. You can tape my ankles afterwards, all right? But anyhow, if you could change something about the sport that you're involved in or the reason that you're here, if you could change something about your life and what you've accomplished, what would it be?
Getting a little more free time would be it, because I know with athletic training, even if a coach of a sport takes a day off, we still have to be there for another sport. So it would be nice not doing a 60, 70-hour day sometimes.
Thank you.
So before I answer the question, I just want to say something, Wayne. I didn't get the chance to do it up on stage. But when I was in high school playing basketball, we didn't have AAU, we didn't have club, right? And we had midnight basketball. And you gave this little girl, being me at the time, somewhere to play, somewhere to get out of the house and really do what we love. So thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that. So something that I would change about the sport. For sure the bloomers have changed, so I don't have to worry about that. However, I love every aspect of the volleyball game. I would probably shorten up the game just a little. Those games to 15, those are intense, and that's what I love coaching the most, is when those games are intense and you got to think fast and you see your girls at your best. Yeah.
I don't think the sport of hockey, the way it's grown, I don't think there's anything that I would want to change. I think it's very, very great that ever since the Dallas Stars moved down to Texas, from Minnesota, it's just great to see how big hockey is getting, and not just it's always been very, very big in Canada, and that's our everybody plays hockey in Canada, but it's great to see how many kids in the United States now are playing, and even the Rhino team, where we get players from all over the world, but it's really great to see how big hockey is getting in the United States.
I actually have something similar. I mean, track and field has grown in the U.S., and I'm very thankful for that. And I think everyone thinks we just perform every 4 years, but that's not true. We have other seasons, full seasons, and world championship teams to make. So the one thing I really would like to see grow and change is just the support in the United States. We're such a NFL, NBA heavy country, which is great. They're great athletes. But when I traveled to Italy and France and Budapest, they had pictures of me printed out already. They knew who I was. The fans in Europe are unlike any other, and I know America can catch up. We just have to make, I think, track and field maybe, like you said, a little bit more condensed, a little bit more fan-friendly. But yeah, people all over the world love running, and I think if we can connect marathon running to high school track and field running to pro track and field running, track and field, almost everyone participates in high school. It's a very popular sport. So how do we translate that to get people in the stands? So that's one thing I want to change, is just to grow the support of track and field.
I love that. I feel like I can also relate to with wrestling. I think that they changed the rules not too long ago. They change them all the time, to be honest, to try to make it a little bit more fan-friendly. And yeah. Not that I feel a little selfish, I'm happy it's not just wrestling that's kind of feeling that way. It's a little share the love of hey, we want a little bit more screen time. But what I think I really would like to change, and something that I'm experiencing now, is the culture that if are you hurt or are you injured? If it just hurts, you're fine, right? If you're injured, and I think that athletes as a whole in any sport can relate to that's probably an injury, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm old and broken now. I don't feel too old. I'm 29, but I feel like I'm 60. And I feel like I could have taken care of myself and my body a lot better, and listened to myself a lot better. And so I think that culture overall, I would love to change, and for us not to view injuries as a weakness, and really just kind of support that and being able to take care of ourselves mentally and physically.
Ooh, an interesting question, for sure. When I thought about it, even as I heard just what was said, I really think that most of the time I played hurt, and I learned how to play with pain, and I learned how to just override the pain. But today, the pain ain't overriding, and it's still a lot more stronger, and the bones I chipped, and they warned me about how I played. But I really think it needs to be more care and concern for the athlete itself. I know the team wants to win, and I believe any good athlete, it wants to make the sacrifice automatically, no matter what. But they're trusting the coach to make decisions that will not mess them up in the future. And many times, it's not this time that mess you up, but it's that time right there in the future now. Now you can't hardly walk. Now you can't hardly move. Now you can't hardly do nothing. And most of the time you don't have the insurance. Most of the time you don't have the money if you don't go pro to do that. But somewhere in there, I always think the coaches and trainers need to somehow pay attention, because not everybody's going on the pro. But there needs to be more focus on the athlete itself and the care of that athlete to make sure. I know they need to win, they want to win, but you still got to make sure that the winning is the person too, not just the game. That's what I feel.
Very well said. Well, we'll go ahead and start off with you
Lord.
since you have the microphone again, Bobby.
Thank you.
Can you tell us who the people are that you would like to thank publicly that help you get here today to be able to tell your story about getting into the Hall of Fame?
Well, I think one person I have to really thank for is probably Wayne Thorton, the one that's sitting right next to you, and definitely my mother, my father, for sure. There had been a lot of encouragement from my friends and those around me, but my father was like, how you want to put it? He only said something once. Second time, all hell broke out. And so I learned to do things exactly and do it hard and sacrifice myself. And he taught me those things and to make sure that I do, that I wasn't lazy, that I wasn't putting off stuff, but I dedicated myself to keep going. But I think my mother, my father, and especially even just coming to where I'm at even today, of course, God itself and Jesus Christ that came in my life, but it's like those type things were very important to me. My two coaches, I can think of Coach Harper, I can think of Coach, I can't think of my high school coach's name. Oh, that's terrible. But anyway, my high school coach's name, coach, he was very instrumental in that and so forth. And my college coach, because I practiced a lot after everybody got done practice, I was running. After everybody got done, I was doing the drills. But that was something they encouraged me to do. If you're going to be the best, then you have to reach for it. I think Gus Bailey, because he was one of the people that really came along and pushed me in the right direction and so forth. He was kind of the one who told me not to go to UTEP. He stepped up to me and said, "You're not going. Do you hear me?" I said, "Well, why I'm not going?" I won't tell you why, but praise the Lord. He told me the reason why, and I said, okay, that's fine. I tried out, went there with Haskins, but I really think that, those things are major things in my heart, that these people really made a difference in my life, and, even now, my wife that's with me now, but all these things add up to a lot of key things for my life. But everybody have touched me. But I appreciate it for all the things. I thank for y'all as well. Thank you for Mr. Rubin and everything. I didn't say your name right. Did I say Ramirez?
Ramirez.
Okay, got
right.
you.
I've been
No
called
problem.
worse.
That's all right. I don't want to call you worse, but you're a great man, and so is Wayne. But I thank everybody here as well. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have a list of people to thank. I want to start off with my parents, first and foremost, my biggest support system. More specifically, my dad. I've done every sport under the sun since I was little. And my dad was the type of person, we didn't have Google back then. So he would go to Barnes & Noble and read the dummies, the book for dummies, right? On how collegiate athletes would run track or play soccer. And he would take my little 8-year-old butt out there. And we would go train like a collegiate athlete that age. And that's the best way that he knew it. It was similar. He told me once, and that's what we're going to do. It's the only much is going to tell you. So I'm super thankful for that foundation that I've had since I was young. And my family, I don't think I've ever been to a high school, any athletic event that I competed in without somebody from my family there. Never been alone. Mom, dad, tia, sister, somebody was always there up until I went to college. And so having that support system is the biggest contributor to me being here today. Softball was my baby for the longest time, but what got me into wrestling is started my sophomore year, and Coach Leo Garcia, he is still a teacher at Montwood High School. He's no longer the wrestling coach, but he welcomed me with open arms and really guided me to become who I am today. I would love to say that wrestling saved my life. I really wasn't on the best track before then, and I know my parents struggled a lot with me because I was a pain in the butt. But wrestling really kind of straightened me out, and it gave me that drive that wanted to keep going forward. So I'm super, super blessed and give so much credit to Coach Garcia. He's awesome. Some other people I want to thank is Coach Carter. Love him over there. Love you. Shout out Coach Carter. I had the opportunity to be coached by him and then to coach alongside him. And he's just wonderful. He's in the Hall of Fame as well, as he deserves to be, because his knowledge is just tremendous. I also love the fact, and shout out to just all of the coaches in general that have taught me something. I think that in the coaching world, I feel like in any sport, sometimes coaches can be a little selfish, right? They're like, no, this is my athlete. Don't go anywhere else. And I don't think that that's how you learn. Everybody has something to teach you. And I'm just thankful to every single coach that has taught something to me in those significant years of development. And then, of course, in college, Coach Archie Randall, Hall of Fame coach as well in Oklahoma in high school and collegiate. We were team national champions in college as well. And he is just legendary. I think Archie, Leo, and my dad are all coached very similarly. They're super, super tough out front, but they mean the best, and they have your back through and through. So love everybody, all of my supporters, and of course God. Ultimately, right? I've been blessed. I've been blessed with the family and the people that have been put in my life to get me here. So very thankful.
Well said.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm similar. I feel like my parents were just a guiding force in allowing me to do all the types of sports I wanted to do. My mother especially, my mother's sacrifice has literally changed my life. My mom grew up with dirt floors, and when they moved to El Paso, and she wanted to be a volleyball star, and my grandmother didn't understand English, and she didn't know what a scholarship was, so my mother never got to play. And she allowed me to live out my dream to the fullest. She paid for extra coaches. She took me to the weight room. I mean, I was scrawny. I had no future in track and field, and she really helped me get there, but just by providing the support. So my mother is just my everything. And then my family. Similarly, I never went to a track and field meet, whether that was at Desert View Middle School or Hanks High School or the University of Texas. Somebody was always cheering for me. I could always hear someone in the stand saying, "Go, Mija." So I'm just thankful for that type of support. And then my husband, we're college sweethearts. I met him at UT at the height of my career, and not many guys understand that I have to travel every weekend. I can't go out. I can't go out on a date. I have 600s tomorrow. So I'm sorry, but I'll have to hang up on you at 7 p.m. So just a bunch of supporters that have just been such a blessing in my life. And of course, the coaches I've had, Kimberly Gomez Phillips, Daddy Phillips, the empire they built at Hanks High School was just truly tremendous. There wasn't a district track meet or any track meet we went to that we weren't hated and the most threatening team ever. And she put together amazing relays. And I'm just so thankful for her to push me to run, because I didn't see it. I didn't see her vision until I was like qualifying for state meets and breaking records and still having a lot of the records today. I owe a lot to Coach Gomez. And then my professional coach, Rose Monday, she was a 2020 Olympic coach for Team USA. She's coached me since 2015, and we've had really lows and really highs. And so she taught me so much about being a professional at this level, being able to travel, get on trains, go to Europe, being able to fly and sleep and do drills on the plane. I've done A-skips down the middle of the aisle, and everyone's like, "What is this girl doing?" And I'm like, "My coach, she told me I have to do A-skips and loosen up my body." So she taught me how to be a professional in the track and field world. So I'm so grateful for her. And of course, God. It's really hard to do what we do. And if you're not a Sha'Carri Richardson or a Noah Lyles, you don't get the attention, you don't get the money. So a lot of times I was struggling, and it's not always easy. And you think you're forgotten in a little town in Italy, and you're running the 400, and you're like, "What am I doing?" But God carried me through. And you guys see me. The Hall of Fame here in El Paso, they followed my career, and I'm so thankful for you guys.
If like the people that like that helped me, I guess, like growing up, we grew up in a small town, in Saskatchewan, of 60 people, and on a farm, and I guess growing up on a farm, you kind of learn like a lot of like the hard work that gets put in the hard work with just growing up on a farm. And I guess like growing up playing hockey, like we would farm during the summer, and then my dad would basically volunteer to run our little youth rink, and that's where myself and my brothers and my sister all kind of started, and they were like, my dad was my coach growing up all the time, and they were at every single event, and like hockey in Canada, you basically have to leave home at a very young age to, if you're going to go play somewhere, you have to leave at a very young age. And I was very, very lucky to have a set of parents that let me go at a very young age. We were just back in Saskatchewan this past week, and I still have a lot of friends that didn't get the opportunity to leave. And just growing up, and I got the opportunity to move around to a lot of different places, and I had a lot of great coaches, and even when I came to El Paso, like you're kind of lucky when you kind of think of like everything that's happened to you. Man, I was in the right spot at the right time there, and like when I met Brian Kennedy, like if I didn't meet Brian Kennedy, I wouldn't have been able to take over the youth program, because I was still hurt playing for the Buzzards, and I was just volunteering, with their junior Buzzards program, and he was working at the Coliseum, and he said, do you want to take this over? And so kind of being in the right spot at the right time, and then the Buzzard, we had the arena and all the programs running in the Coliseum, and then when the ice went out, and then all of a sudden we had the opportunity to move over to the Equestrian Center. And, we're in the right spot at the right time. And we had the opportunity to bring the rhinos here. But just like, I remember like when we first started the ice rink, like, all the volunteers and all the people that helped put everything together, like even now we have, 40 or 50 families that house the rhino players, that come from all over the world. And so there's so many people, like hundreds of people, to thank, and to thank all of you to recognize, like when I first came here, and it just seems like I came here yesterday, to think that I'd be sitting here today, I think you're crazy, but no, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to begin by thanking my high school basketball coach, Diana de la Cruz. She's now an assistant over at Burgess High School. Wow, like at the time, young athlete in high school, you don't understand it. And it takes years, it takes maturity to finally realize, like, wow, what an impact my coach truly made in my life. A lot of the decisions that I make now, the work ethic I have now, taught me how to be a leader, toughened me up, definitely. But so many lessons, and I owe a lot to her. So hopefully she's watching, or maybe she'll watch it later. Coach D, I love you, and I thank you for everything that you've done for me. My work ethic, I had a great example, and that was my mother. Everyone knows that they walk into CD Jarvis and they know where my mom sits. They know that's her spot. Visiting teams, don't sit there, because that's where my mom sits. So, Mom, thank you so much. My son, who was only 1 year old when I first started coaching and teaching, he gave up a lot of mom time so that I can go and coach and teach young ladies. So I thank him. However, I have a very important VIP at home, and that's my husband. And I'm very lucky that I have a coach at home. The coaching profession can get lonely at times, can get very heavy at times. But when you have somebody like him in your corner, it's so much easier. And so, thank you.
Above everyone else, God is the one I would thank for. He has set the path for where I've headed. We sometimes don't realize it sometimes, but He's always there. But along the way, prior to me entering 7th grade, I fractured my arm, and I wanted so much to play football. Couldn't do that. And so they sent me to the school district athletic trainer by the name of John Harvey, who later became Texas Southern University's head athletic trainer. And he worked with me. He'd even have some little summer camp sessions for us. And then right after my sophomore year in high school, he went to become the assistant trainer for the Houston Texans of the World Football League. And he recruited myself and a friend of mine to come help. And, at 16 years of age, we're traveling with professional football players, and just seemed unreal to be doing that. And so I owe a lot to him. And then graduating from high school, my brother was out here, so I know he kind of put the bug in Jim Bowden's ear and Ross Moore's ear. and I got a partial scholarship here. So my brother Jim Bowden and Ross Moore, and then going on to, after living in Georgia and South Texas and coming back here, Dave Binder and Don Hearn offered to help me so I could prepare for getting my license. So I do owe them a whole lot. I thank Wayne for initially nominating me 2 years ago. And then I can't leave out my family. We talk about that, and earlier I was talking about the hours I spent. My wife kind of becomes a athletic training widow for 10 months out of the year, and she's done an excellent job with my 2 kids. I mean, they're grown now. My daughter just graduated from Eastwood, but and then my son is 27, and I can't thank her enough. And it used to be that I'd come home late and everybody else has already eaten dinner, and now she works a full-time job, and sometimes she comes home late and I'm the one fixing the dinner. And so, but there's so many others that I could thank too, but it just all, I don't even know what word to use to describe it. Just there's just too many to mention, just basically.
All right, cool. Great. Well, thank you all. Thank you for sharing everything that you just did with us. Speaking of sharing, I got to send a shout out to the El Paso Community College for hosting us once again. Without their support, lending us their facilities, letting us hold our banquets, our meetings, just everything that has to do with the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. Without them, I don't know if we'd be around anymore, to be honest with you. But I got to wrap up my part by saying, again, I'm so proud to be able to be a part of this induction with this class. I said this morning at County Commissioners. This is probably one of the very strongest classes that we've had since I've been involved with the Hall of Fame. And I tell you, when we get ready to put you all's plaques up at the Don Haskins Center, where the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame is, when you walk around there, you're going to be able to see the people that came into the hall before you. 70 years worth of people, athletes, coaches, administrators, media people, just contributors that are in our Hall of Fame. And I welcome you. I congratulate you, and thank you for allowing me to play such a small part in all of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Ace. Thank you, Mr. Grijalva. Thank you, Monster. Thank you all. And ladies and gentlemen, I know the gentleman to my right, you call him the president. I call him my brother.
Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that.
Love you, bro.
I love you.
Thanks for everything, man.
Thank you.
We did it together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dalto. Thank all of you. And do 2 things. Stay nice as rice, mellow as jello. People always say, what does that mean? It just brings a smile to your face. And number 2, on behalf of the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame, tonight, sometime tonight, I want you to go outside, and I want you to look at the sky. And you won't see any stars. You know why? Because all the stars are right here. God bless. Thank you. All the very best, and we'll see you with the banquet. This is your class of 2025.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you for joining us for the Welcome to the Hall podcast, courtesy of the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame and the El Paso Sports Commission. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best of the best from past inductees into your El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame.